All right, everybody tuned in. I hope you're ready. We're going to go ahead and get started. My name is Erica Mahan. I'm glad you're joining us for this informational webinar. This webinar is a good opportunity for you to get to know CASA before you arrive and to have a good understanding of how we here at CASA can support you while you're at Mines. So go ahead and grab some paper and a pen. You might want to take some notes. So while you're getting settled in, I'd like my co-hosts, Lisa and Jen, to introduce themselves and say hi. Ladies.
Hi, everybody. My name is Jen Drum. I'm the director of CASA and excited to connect with you all tonight.
Lisa.
Can you all hear me?
Yeah, there you are, Lisa.
Hi. Sorry, we've been having sound issues, everybody. Hi, everyone. I'm Lisa Anderson. I'm one of the advisors here, and we're glad you're all joining us. So welcome.
Perfect. All right, so let's move on. All right, so what are we going to talk about during this webinar? We're going to be chatting with you for about 15 minutes. You will have an opportunity to send questions at the end. I've noticed some of y'all have been messing with the chat. Very cool. If you could please hold your questions till the end, and then we'll go ahead and address them. But if you do have a burning question in the middle of the webinar, go ahead and type it in the chat box, and we'll get to it at the end of the presentation. So here's a brief look at what we're going to review during our time together. My hope is our time will help you prepare for your first semester at Mines. In addition, you'll have a better idea of where to go for assistance and support and just how to navigate the Mines community and how to feel like you're fitting in and having a good time. So I thought you might like to know a little bit about me, the person behind the voice. I am a Texas girl all the way. I saw a few of y'all in the chat said you're from Texas, so I'm happy that you're going to be joining me. I'm the newest member of CASA. I finished graduate school at the University of Texas San Antonio in December, got this job a week later, and moved up here 2 weeks later. And it was the best decision I've made. So those of you who are coming from out of state, I'm really excited that you're going to be here. The weather is wonderful. The snow is so pretty. And spring and summer are just gorgeous. Something else about me, I am a first generation student. I'm not only the first one in my family to get a bachelor's degree, but I'm also the first to keep going and get my master's degree. I'm really proud of that, and my parents are also proud as well, as you can see in the picture with my family. I'm also a huge Spurs fan, so those of you from Texas, I hope you also are a Spurs fan. I like to watch the game with my wiener dog, Woodstock. He's my tried and true. And also, I'm a returned Peace Corps volunteer. I lived and worked in Africa for a little over 3 years and had an absolute blast. If you're interested in the Peace Corps, please come see me whenever you come here to Mines, and we can chat and you can pick my brain about what that experience was like. But that's a little bit about me. I'm excited to meet you all. And Lisa is going to introduce the rest of our staff.
Awesome. Thanks, Erica. Hi, everyone. Lisa's back. As you can see, this is our lovely staff. We're a great bunch. I'm down there on the bottom left side. So if you have last names M through R, I'll actually be your advisor. So come and chat with me. Right above me is Amy. Amy Argyris DuPont. She works with last names M through R, or I'm sorry, A through C. So if you fall into that category, Amy will be your advisor. Behind her is Caroline. Caroline is our administrative coordinator. She's the first person you will see when you walk into our office, and she is a wealth of information. So if you have any questions, come in and chat with Caroline. Next to Caroline is Kyle Castro. He's one of our other advisors. He works with last names D through L. So if you fall into that category, Kyle is here waiting for you. Erica is right below Kyle. And then right there, front and center, is Jen Drum. She is our wonderful director, and she's always here for support as well. So if you have questions, come and see us.
Thank you, Lisa. All right, moving on. So CASA, who are we and what can we do for you? So CASA, we're the Center for Academic Services and Advising. We provide a variety of services ranging from tutoring to facilitating some academic courses. So let's take a few minutes to highlight our services. As you can see on this slide, if you want to go on the website for yourself and look at the information, you can visit us at casa.mines.edu. All right, so our most popular services are core supplemental instruction and tutoring. So tutoring, we have about 25 to 30 student tutors on staff. They focus spans a good portion of the Minds curriculum. Our peer educators, they're sophomores through seniors, and they're pursuing a wide variety of majors and minors. So you should be able to go into our tutoring center and find a tutor who's majoring the same thing as you. They've been successful. They've proved that they know the material. So please come in and see them. We like to tell our students to be proactive. Tutoring isn't something that you need to wait to attend. We'd like you to go ahead and just do your homework in the study hall where there are tutors. So when you do have a question, boom, there's a tutor right there. We don't want you to wait till the last minute till you've had a bad test or until you feel like you hit a rut. We definitely want you being proactive about your education and using the tutoring that we have for you. It's 100% free, and we have some awesome hours. We have tutoring from 11 to 1, Monday through Thursday, and we also have tutoring in the evenings from 5 to 11, Sunday through Thursday. So definitely good hours for you all, hours outside of classes that you can stop by. Not only our study hall, but we also have tutoring in the library. So we hope that you take advantage of this free service and visit our tutors. We also have core supplemental instruction, which we call CSI. These are supplemental evening workshops that are led by student facilitators. So these are students who have passed and been successful in the core, and now it's kind of their turn to teach the material. Professors, we all know that they're experts on the subject and they know the content very well, but sometimes the way they explain it doesn't quite click with us. So it's nice to have a peer advisor to maybe explain the material in a different way, give different examples, and just have that peer outlook on the class. We are going to be having fall CSI for Biology 1, Calculus 1, Calculus 2, Chemistry 1, Phys 1, and Phys 2. So again, a lot of those classes that you all will be taking those first and second semesters. In addition to the weekly session, our supplemental instruction facilitators also hold weekly office hours during CASA tutoring hours, so another resource for you to use whenever you need a little extra help. We encourage you to do the same thing. We don't want you to come to CSI at the last minute. We'd like you to take advantage of this weekly, be really proactive about your studies, be really on top of your homework, and please use these free resources that we're providing for you all. All right, our CASA peer advisors. These are students who you will see as soon as you walk into our office. They're undergraduate sophomores, juniors, and seniors who also are pursuing a variety of majors here at Minds. They're available on a walk-in basis. Sometimes as advisors, we can be a little bit busy, and sometimes the questions that you all have might be a little bit, somebody can take care of it right there. So our peer advisors are there to help you take care of those quick questions that you might have to walk in. They really do provide you with a valuable student perspective on course load, faculty teaching styles, academic success tips. They've been playing the game for a while, so they definitely have some knowledge to share with you all. As the semester approaches, you can check our website to get more information about our peer advisors. They're really eager to meet you all. They're pretty awesome, and we're really lucky to have them in our office. All right, academic coaching. That's another resource our office provides. Coaching is a one-on-one opportunity to work with your advisor on topics like study skills, test preparation, time management, areas that you might not had to have considered in high school. So we want to be able to support you as you pursue your studies at Minds. We really do encourage you all to meet with your advisor, and when you're meeting with them, maybe ask about coaching. Is it right for you? Are you having some test anxiety? Are you having trouble taking notes? Those are all things that we can help you with and we can coach you through. As you can see on top, there's the website so you can get more information about our academic coaching. Next, we have faculty in CASA. So faculty from various academic departments host their office hours in CASA. We call this faculty in CASA. The picture on the slide shows Professor Renee Falconer. She's an awesome chemistry faculty member. You can see her discussing course material with students. Our Faculty in CASA program has been recognized as an outstanding advising program by the National Academic Advising Association. We really do encourage you to stop by our office, not only for our tutoring and supplemental instruction, but to visit with your faculty. Our office is really cozy and really comfortable, and we feel it's just a great setting for you to come in and chat with your professors. It's a little informal. You don't have to be crowded in their office. And again, we have a study hall attached to our building, so if several students need to meet with the professor, they can take it on back to the study hall, and the professor's able to work with everybody. We had a really big turnout on Fridays this semester. Physics is one of those courses that students sometimes need a little extra help with, and Fridays was the day to get it. So our study hall was actually pretty full weekly, with students working with faculty in CASA, kind of getting that extra help for upcoming exams and homework. All right, so this is our space. This is our house. We're actually a little casa. Our study hall is available after hours. Again, it's attached to office, and students have access to the study hall even when our office is closed using your blaster card. You can swipe the card and you can come into our study hall at 1 a.m. if you need to. We love our space, and we hope you will too. We hope that you make it your home away from home. Sometimes we'll even catch the occasional student taking a nap in there, so feel free to, do whatever you need to do in our study space. Let's take a couple of minutes to chat about the information we shared at launch. Hopefully, all of you all were able to attend, but if not, just a quick recap of what we discussed during orientation. So the registrar's office is currently building your schedules for the fall. They're looking at your AP credit, they're looking at transfer credits that you're bringing in, they're evaluating that, they're looking at if you're in athletics, are you living in a themed learning community? All of this information is being taken into account as they build your schedules, and your schedule will be available on your Trailhead account on August 1st. They're currently being built, so if some of y'all have taken a peek in Trailhead and you've seen your schedule, nothing is absolute right now. Changes can still be made, so please just be a little bit patient with us, and on August 1st, you can go ahead and check your Trailhead account and see what your fall schedule would look like. We do anticipate that you will be taking approximately 16 to 18 credit hours in the fall. That's a normal course load for students. And if you get your schedule and you see that there's something on there that you might need to change, please, please, please do not make any changes until you speak with your advisor, until you speak with someone here at CASA. We don't want you making any changes kind of without speaking to your advisor, because we want to make sure that you're staying on track in your degree plan, and also that you're not dropping something that you might not be able to fill that spot back with. So if you are unhappy with the schedule that you're given, go ahead and reach out to your advisor, and we can come in, we can do a phone chat, we can do whatever we need to do to make sure that you get the schedule that accommodates you best. All right, let's take a little more closely look at the 16 to 18 credits you'll be taking. During your first 1.5 to 2 years, you will be completing what we call the core curriculum. And core classes are our math series. You go Calc 1, Calc 2, Calc 3 to Diff EQ. We have chemistry. Some degree plans do require Chem 2. Physics 1, and again, most degree will have Physics 2. Physical activities, you have to have 4 of those in different semesters. Humanities and social science, so those are looking at your writing courses, kind of ethics courses. You will have a design course. That's a course to help students kind of work together, looking at team building and solving problems. And a first year seminar class. It'll be called CSM 101, and it's just a half credit class that goes over, how to register yourself and what life like is here at Mines, how to navigate the campus. The courses that make up the core are detailed in our course catalog. If you visit catalog.mines.edu, You can see your flow chart, you can see your degree plan, you can kind of see what's coming up in the next 4 years. You can look at it by semester, what classes you need to take, how many hours you should be taking each semester. Once you've completed those, first year and a half, 2 years, and you've completed the bulk of the core, you can move forward with more degree-specific courses that often the core are prereqs for. So just expect, first year or two, you will be taking some core classes and you won't be getting major specific until later on. Just a few friendly reminders. If you haven't already, please make sure to have your AP, IB, college transcript sent to Minds as soon as possible. If you have credit coming from your high school and you took a dual enrollment course at a community college or local university, make sure that you send in both those transcripts from the high school and the college or university. And again, as soon as possible, schedules are going to be popped out here in about a week. So make sure that you get those in so your schedule can be built accordingly. As I mentioned before, please access Trailhead. Get on there, start playing with that system, get familiar with it. And on August 1st, you will be able to view your fall schedule. Again, be in touch with us if you want to revise your schedule. Let's chat through the changes you want to make before you actually make them. We also have fall kickoff. This is a fun time for students to get to know each other, get to know campus, see what we have to offer, and have a little bit of fun before you start hitting the books. First day of classes is right around the corner. It's going to start August 20th. And Census Day, this is looking a little bit ahead, but Census Day is the day where you can decide, I've got too many classes, maybe I need to drop one. And you can drop it by that census day and it's not going to affect you. So make sure that you put September 5th on your calendars. You're looking at that date as it approaches, making sure that you're handling the course load okay. We don't want you getting in the weeds and falling too far behind. All right, next, Jen has some words of wisdom for you all. She is our director and has most of the answers. So please go ahead and listen to Jen.
Thank you, Erica. Hi, everybody. I will do my best to help out with answers. But yeah, just wanted to pause to be able to celebrate this moment with all of you. This is a big deal having finished high school, if you're transferring into Mines, anything that you've done on the back end to be ready to go to start your experience here at Mines. I just really want you to be able to pause and enjoy this moment and celebrate all of your hard work. It's going to be a great transition to be able to come here to Mines, enjoy it, soak it in. You're going to be learning a lot about yourself. You'll have new experiences, getting to know new people all around campus, interacting with faculty who really care about what they teach. So it's a really wonderful time, and so I hope that you treasure kind of these last couple days and weeks before classes begin. Secondly, we really want you to monitor your Minds email account and your Trailhead account. Erica really emphasized getting into Trailhead and getting familiar with the system. And then also really important that you're checking your Minds email. It is the official form of communication from Minds, so really important that you're checking that at least on a regular basis. I know there's some possibility that you can forward that to a personal email account. I just really encourage that you at least look at it, I'd say, even once a day, a couple times a week, because it is the official form of communication. We've seen students miss out on some information because they weren't checking their email. We know it can be a lot. We try to keep it really important. Email is sent to you. So continue to keep an eye on that. Thirdly, we want you to be planning well. That's a lot of what we try to do here at CASA. We try to be proactive with what's going to be happening right around the corner, right at the start of the semester. We'll always try to be a couple steps ahead and keep your eyes on what's going to be happening. And a planner is really key to having a successful semester. So whether you used a physical or electronic planner in your prior educational experiences, if you haven't used a planner before, we would be happy to walk you through, what does that look like? How do you take all of your syllabi information and transfer that into a planner? How do you actually schedule study dates for yourself and study times and commit to those? A lot of times high school has coursework outside of class, but majority of your work is in class, and that's really switched in college. So you'll be expected to complete a lot of time outside of class working on your coursework. And you'll be in class just 3 hours a week. So being able to stick to that and plan out all the other extracurricular activities that you might be involved in will be really important for managing your time. And like I said, we can help with that, and whatever you need questions about, let us know. And then next, we want you to be thinking about some goals that you want to have for the fall semester. You can even think about the year as well. So we gave some examples of visiting faculty visiting faculty office hours early in the semester. I always say early is really, really important when visiting your faculty, because not a lot of students visit right away. Usually they wait until something's happening or you've had a test. But I say going early, there's nothing stopping you from saying hi. Ask your faculty how they got involved in their education, in their department. Ask them about the research that they've been doing or their favorite part of being at Minds. I would say a really good question to ask is, tell me what an A student looks like in this class. That's a really good insight as to what they're expecting you to do, and how to handle yourself both in and outside of class. And then you develop a relationship. I always tell students, faculty are people just like you. So being able to connect with them is going to be really important. Another one, chatting with a peer advisor about balancing academics and social life. They've been there. They were there, some of them just a year ago, others 2 years ago. So they're walking this walk. They're doing it. So getting advice from them is going to be really key. So think about yourself. What's important to you? What do you want to be able to do? And how do you want to, set yourself up to succeed? And then next, explore the CASA webpage. We've got our FAQs up, and so you can follow those links. We've got a lot of great information there, and we try to update that as much as possible. And then last but not least, email us if you have questions. We do have live chat with our staff, mainly our student staff, when they are here working. And then if not, send us an email. We get email on a regular basis. It's a great way to find the information and get it to you as quickly as possible, or it can be forwarded to your advisor if it's a more in-depth question. So please feel free to ask us questions. And again, if it's not with our office, then we'll make sure that we point you in the right direction.
Thank you, Jen. And thank you all for your attention today. Just a few reminders, not to be too repetitive, but class schedules and details will be finalized on August 1st. If you want to make changes, you want to revise, please be in touch. Chat with your advisor before you make any changes. And here on this slide, we have some different resources for you. We've got financial aid. Those bills will be coming out soon. So please make sure that you reach out and visit the financial aid website if you've got any questions. Also, campus dining, if you're having questions about meal plans, student activities and involvement. Again, we will have that event that first, right before classes start, where you will be able to see all of the activities, all of the clubs we have. But if you want to get a head start, go ahead and pop up that website. Residence Life, if you've got questions about dorms and new student and transition services, looking at Digger Camp, and just how to make your first year here at Minds the best that it can be. So social media is kind of the thing these days, so we want to make sure that you're following us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. This isn't our official way of communicating, but please, follow us, whatever you need to do, so you can be getting some updates, reminders, learn more about the staff, learn more about the tutors, just making sure that you're staying connected to Minds. All right, so now it's your turn. So everybody, you should see a chat that you all can type in your questions. And so go ahead and type those in, and we will answer them via audio so you all can hear the answers. So go ahead and type away any questions you might have about academic advising, services we provide, or maybe if you just have a general Minds question, we might be able to answer it. So go ahead and ask us away.
This is Lisa again. I just wanted to jump in and say you guys have
Oh, Lisa, I think we lost you. Yeah, we did. All right, Lisa, we'll try to get you back on. Let's scroll through these questions. All right, West Texas.
All right, I've got one. So Grace wants to know what kind of classes, activities, etc. would you recommend for students who have no idea what they want to do for a major or career path? And that's a great question. I would say, and I think everyone here would agree, explore as much as possible, gather as much information as possible. So something as a resource is the catalog. Erica mentioned that, and I can't stress how important that is to even explore, because all the catalog.minds.edu is where you can find information about all of the academic policies, as well as all of the major information. And so what that does is you can look at every single major, minor program that we have here on campus, and it'll list all of the classes that you need to take for that major, and it'll spell it out every semester. Here's what you would take, and it's sample schedules, but here's what you can expect to take your first year, first semester, first year, second semester. So looking at that, reading the name of courses, and then reading the course descriptions, because you can click on them and read the course descriptions. That's a really good way of finding out what would it be like to be in those courses and whether or not you would like that or not. So that's just a really great resource to be able to do. In that same vein, then you'll be able to start to see a little bit of major specific courses, kind of introductory courses that you might want to take. And then in terms of activities, we always recommend partnering with our Career Center. So being able to chat with them, because they can talk to you about what students are getting jobs where after they graduate. And talk with students. This is a great question for peer advisors, as well as your peer mentor who will be in your CSM 101 class. Ask them about what it's like to be in that major. Actually, every CSM 101 class will have a major panel where students from all around campus representing various majors will be able to talk about their majors and what it's like to be there. So that will be I know my students love that course. And so being able to find out from students what it's like to be in those majors could be a really handy thing to do. So that's kind of my suggestion there.
All right, next question's from Anna. She says, how do we know what classes we are receiving credit for? So right now, the credits that you are hoping to bring in, all of that is being evaluated by the registrar. And on August 1st, you'll be able to see in your Trailhead account what classes you're put in. And that will suggest kind of, if you're put in Calc 2, that means you're bringing in Calc 1 and so forth. Also, in your Trailhead account, you can see something called a degree evaluation. And you can use that to see what credits you're bringing in and how they're being transferred over. Also, that's what we are for. So please come see your advisor on, that first week, that first month of school, and we can let you know exactly what you brought in, how it's being transferred in, what you're getting credit for, and how that plays into your degree plan. All right, Samantha, she's asking, when do you get textbooks? I know you have a bookstore, so can we get them after we move in? So we really do encourage students to wait for that first week on getting your textbooks. You can look online to see what textbooks are needed. I would suggest, going on Amazon and maybe shopping around online to see what's the best deal that you can get. But typically, you can wait for that first week of school to buy your books.
I think Lisa's going to try talking again.
Lisa?
Nope, still not working. Okay, so I will go. Claire's got a question. How can you check if admissions has received final transcripts, test scores, etc.? In terms of transcripts, check your Trailhead account, start there, because they will have evaluated the transfer credit and it should be showing up in your Trailhead account. In terms of test scores, you can double check with either College Board if it was an AP exam or IB to be able to check to see if that was sent there, because it would be sent automatically. You can always call the registrar's office, as they would have those test scores as well, and transcripts. So if it's not in your Trailhead account, then go to registrar's office. And something good to pay attention to is just knowing if you are thinking that certain classes were going to come in and they're not, it could be because of the free electives. Sometimes those won't come in if you've got more than 9 credits and you're in a major that only requires 9 credits. So that tends to be a common question. But again, the registrar would be able to help out with that.
All right, Lisa, you want to give it another try?
Yeah, can you all hear me?
Perfect.
Yay, all right. Okay, Dylan has a question. Are you assigned a CASA advisor or an advisor in your major as a freshman? Good question. You will be assigned a CASA advisor. You'll have an advisor here for about your first 1.5 to 2 years. So our purpose is to really help get you through that core curriculum, help you with major exploration if you're still between different programs, minor options, really to help get you started here in those first 1.5, 2 years or so. Once you decide on a major, we usually declare sometime in sophomore year, get you formally declared. So technically, this is kind of a nuance. Everyone is technically undeclared when you get here. You have a major of interest, so we ask you to confirm your major, so thank you all for doing that. You'll have a major of interest, but that's literally all it is. So sophomore year sometime we'll formally declare you. At that point, you will be assigned a faculty advisor in your department, but you will be housed with us until that point.
All right, Lydia. Lydia asks, what is the name of the advisor for the last part of the alphabet? Lydia, I forgot to say that when I introduced myself. That would be me, Erica. I work with students whose last name falls between S through Z.
Okay, and then Travis has a question about textbooks and looking for syllabi. So I would say your best bet is to wait until you get your syllabi for course because for classes. I don't believe we've got an actual place where all the syllabi would be updated, because you might be finding a previous one and there could be a previous version of a textbook. So I think it's always best to kind of wait unless you're hearing specifically from your instructor that says this is the syllabus and these are the textbooks, that you'll be able to, or from the bookstore. Actually, I take back most of what I said. So the syllabi might be old, sorry, but the bookstore website should have what would be required for the specific course. So two-part question. Hopefully that made sense.
Okay, we have one from Allison. Are we going to be at Digger Camp on August 1st? And will you be able to see your schedule then? Will we need to wait until after camp? And if so, we'll be able to contact CASA or to change our schedule that next week. Good question. So actually, Erica will be up at Digger Camp one day. I'm not sure exactly which day. The rest of us will be here on campus. If you're at Digger Camp and you happen to have service or a computer, you can check them on Trailhead, so everything will be online. So yes, you can see your schedule then as long as you have access service to do that. So if you've got a smartphone, you can definitely try and pull that up. I'm not sure what self-service will look like up at Digger Camp, so keep that in mind. If you're not able to check it on the 1st, don't worry. There's plenty of time before school starts if you want to take a look. You've got questions. Do not feel like you have to look at it and make changes on the 1st. We have plenty of time between August 1st and August 20th. So don't worry about that. Yes, you can always contact CASA after that point, up until that point, if you've got questions. So don't feel like August 1st is your only time. We will be here every day. So just let us know.
All right, Andrea. Andrea asks, after the first semester of physical activity, can students choose a particular sport they are most interested in, or are they all general? So for this for the schedule that's being created for you, you will be put into a general physical activity class where they just kind of say, stay moving for the hour. But on that first week of school, we will have a fair with all the club sports, all the intramural sports. You'll have an opportunity to see what we have. So even in that first semester, if you'd like to get involved in one of those club sports or intramural sports, you have that ability to go ahead and take advantage of that. And as for in the future, you all will be registering yourself, so you will be able to pick what physical activity class you want to be in, whether you want to do rock climbing or you want to stick with the general PA. But this is the only semester that you're going to be put into the general one. After this first semester, you will have the ability to put yourself into any physical activity that you would like to participate in.
Okay, and then Joe Morton, your question about math and physics, I'm going to send you an email so we can kind of talk more in depth about that. And okay, so our next question, Maharita, I hope that that's correct. If we're thinking about applying for a job off campus during freshman year, are we able to apply for a parking permit? Yeah, that's a really good question, and I don't know the specifics about that, because I know that parking is, Margot, thank you, perfect. So Margot, if you, I know that it's no longer allowed for first year students to be on camp, to have a car on campus. There are certain exceptions. So I would say talk with parking services to find out about that. I don't know if it's going to be, kind of first come, first serve, or a lottery based on your requirements, or if you can say, I need to have this. So that's one step, is I would say chat with parking services to find out about that. And then I would think about where that job might be. If it's going to be in Golden, you can walk to just about everywhere in Golden. There is also a Dial Ride, which is a quick and easy Golden area shuttle that you can take. And then if it's further on down, then we've got the Jeffco Transportation Center as well that can get you to Denver and get you to the airport. So I hope that helps. Let us know if you've got any other questions about that.
All right, just to piggyback off that, one other thing I do want to mention about jobs is there are a ton of jobs on campus as well. So if you are looking for maybe a part-time job or something like that, a lot of departments hire students for a variety of different things. A lot of it doesn't necessarily depend on work study. So if you don't have work study funding, don't worry, odds are you can still find a job on campus. So something to keep in mind. But moving on to our next question. So Donald asked about where you can find which AP credits have been received, what's been accepted, and kind of what that goes towards. I'm glad you found degree evaluation. That's great. For now, another place to look will be your unofficial transcript. At the very top, it will list, and that's on Trailhead, you can access that electronically. It will list what we have given you credit for. You may not see all of it. Keep in mind, we can only accept so much credit that will apply towards your degree. If you have specific questions about your specific credit, email us, talk to your advisor so we can walk you through specifically what that looks like. But you should be able to see at the top of your unofficial transcript what credit has come in. If you aren't sure or still not sure where to go, contact either admissions or probably the registrar's office. You can email registrar@mines.edu, and they can at least tell you what they do have on file for you and what's been received so far.
All right. We have a question from Shannon. If a student fails a class, what are the options available? Take it again, scholastic probation. Hopefully won't have to find out. We hope so too, Shannon, that you won't have to find out, but stuff happens, right? In the case that you fail a class, or some classes you have to make a C in order to move on to the next course in the sequence. It's a prereq. So if you fail or you do not meet the prereq grade that they're asking for, yes, you do have to take it again, which is no problem. You can also look at taking courses at a community college. Again, speak with your advisor if you're thinking about taking something at Red Rocks or maybe a community college in your state. But there are options for taking courses at a different institution and transferring them over. Sometimes students find that maybe it's a little bit easier at the community college, or maybe it just fits better with their schedule. So definitely it is an option to, retake the class here at Mines. You can also retake it somewhere else. Scholastic probation. So typically when students fall below a 2.5, we put a pin on you. It just means that you've got to come chat with us. It doesn't mean you're in trouble. It doesn't mean anything. It just means we're looking out for you. We see that maybe you're having a few problems, and we just want you to come in and chat with us. If you fall below a 2.0, that's when probation and all of that kind of comes into play. So we are looking out for you. We do notice, whenever we do see you slipping, and we will reach out to you, definitely, for sure. Hopefully we won't have to, but again, stuff happens, and if you fail a class, we'll cross that bridge whenever we get there.
All right, so Caitlin's question is, if we're not assigned a PE class our first semester, is it possible to take classes at the rec center or do intramural sports to test out of the credit? The answer to that question is yes, you can do classes at the rec center or intramural sports, but you can't test out of the credit. How physical education courses work, our PA classes, is you'll need to do 4 separate semesters of a PA course. You can also participate in some club sports, and club sports can count for that. And actually, there will be a lot of information the first week of classes about club sports and how to work it out where you would enroll in the club sports section of a physical activity course to get credit. NCAA varsity athletics also counts, and then as well as marching band. So there's information about possibly, being able to get the information and get the credit for the class by participating in those events. But unfortunately, intramurals and rec centers and the rec center courses don't count for that. But if you're not assigned a PE or a PA class your first semester, I wouldn't worry about it, that you can always take it later on. And then also know that first week of classes, that's when a lot of students will be changing schedules around. So you never know what will open up. So if you're not, you can always add one if you really want to and get started on it right away. And then if not, you can always jump into it during January in the spring semester.
Okay, we've got a question from Samantha. What is the difference between basically honors math or regular, or do we offer just regular Calc 2 for freshmen that first semester? So if you're coming in with credit for calculus specifically, you may be put into an honors version of the next in the sequence. So like honors Calc 2, for example. That could be for a couple of different reasons. So honors courses versus regular, or regular courses, like pretty much any other calc class you'll find anywhere else. Our honors version goes a lot more in depth into mathematical theory. Certain majors prefer that you may take an honors course. So depending on your major of interest, especially if you're looking at applied mathematics, they'll probably prefer you to take the honors course. You certainly don't have to, depending on maybe credit you're bringing in. If you got a really high score on that EP exam, they may put you in the honors version because you've demonstrated that you have kind of that skill set. If you have been put in an honors version and you prefer to take the regular, you certainly can. Again, chat with us before you try to go in and make any changes after that August 1st date rolls around. We want to make sure there's room in the class that we can get you into and that it's not full, and kind of talk about what that looks like. So if you've got questions kind of more particular to your schedule after that August 1st point, let us know. But that is kind of the difference between the honor and the regular.
All right. I don't want to say your name wrong, but Maharta, I went ahead and put the link for parking services in the chat so you can go ahead and contact them. And you asked if the shuttle is free. Lisa, I don't think so, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I was going to say, so I'm sending the information for our Inside Minds website, and that's got information about the Golden Shuttle, and students do receive an RTD pass.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Shuttle free. All right, next is Sharon. How do you find out about the other on-campus jobs? So actually on August 21st, that's day 2 of school, there will be an on-campus job fair, and it's a job fair for everyone on campus who is looking for student employees. So make sure that you're looking out for that flyer, you're reading your email, and saving the date for August 21st. It's between 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. It's just going to be a bunch of tables set up, different departments who are asking for student workers. And you can also go to DiggerNet, D-I-G-G-E-R, net. And from there, it's our online job posting for on-campus jobs.
All right, and then Lydia, just following up on the RTD public transport passes, I just put the link for RTD Denver, so you can actually find out all the information about RTD. It's the Regional Transportation, not sure what the D stands for. Regional Transportation District, yes. And so it's got information about everything with public transportation, and your pass will work for all of that.
Okay, we've got another question. If I join a varsity team, will my schedule change entirely, and how do I go about changing it? So kind of, I'll answer the first part first. If you join a varsity team, it could potentially change. Most varsity teams will start practice around 4 p.m. So they obviously can't be in class that late. So depending on what your schedule looks like, if you do happen to join a varsity team, we will work with you. There's also a coordinator in athletics. Her name is Dixie Cirillo. She can work with you as well to help make those changes. To go about making changes, you'll do that through Trailhead. There's a link in there under your registration tab to add and drop classes. Again, word of caution, please contact us before making those changes. Eric talked about this before, but we want to make sure that you're not dropping anything you may need to get back into, and that again, you're staying on track with your programs. So let us know. But yeah, add and drop classes is the way you'll do that in Trailhead. But yeah, talk to us so we can help you navigate that process first.
All right, and Mari Carmen, your question about if your dorm has bunk beds, is there the ability to change that, and who do we contact for residence hall questions? So I'm putting the website for our residence life department. I believe that most of the beds will be set up as regular beds, and then you have the ability to turn it into bunk beds if you would like. I think that's kind of the traditional setup. So yes, if it's bunk beds, you should be able to move that around and kind of move the furniture around in your room. On the Residence Life website, there are policies, residence hall information, current residence information, so I would explore that website, and then definitely feel free to reach out and ask them questions, because that's hot on the trail. That's coming up soon.
All right, Nathaniel asks, are the questions part of the webinar being recorded? Yes, all of this is being recorded right now, and we will post it on our website so you can rehear the questions being asked and the answers that we're giving.
Okay, Samantha asked if we have work study, do we get the money or does it go only towards tuition? Good question. So if you fill out FAFSA and were awarded work study funding, that will actually go to you. So it's basically comes in a paycheck. You do have to have a job on campus. So keep that in mind. If you are awarded work study funds and you do not find a job on campus, that money doesn't go anywhere. You don't get that money, it basically goes away. But yes, it goes to you. It's basically a paycheck. If you have work study funds, tell you what, contact departments, go to the job fair, check out DiggerNet. Everyone hires work study students if you have that funding, so definitely find a job. If you don't have work study, don't worry. On-campus jobs are still plentiful, but it does come in the form of a paycheck.
All right, Lydia, the Facebook page also mentioned foreign language courses. I know we can't take them first semester, but what languages are generally available through Minds? So we don't offer too many. We do have Spanish 1, Spanish 2, French 1 and 2, German, and Arabic, I believe. I will say that they tend to fill up pretty fast. So make sure that as you're looking at the spring, and if you want to register for one of those foreign language classes, make sure that you look at the day that you're supposed to register. Make sure that you're on top of that if you're really set on getting into one of those foreign language classes.
Okay, Azariah, if we're living at home and commuting, is it possible to avoid 8 a.m. classes or switch if necessary to allow more drive time in the morning? That's a great question. So right now, while the registrar's office is creating schedules, they are not taking into consideration times. So what they're doing is they're putting you into classes and they're really trying to work with the entire incoming first year cohort to be able to make sure that everyone's in the classes that they need to move forward. So time falls a little bit lower in the priority list. What can happen is take a look at your schedule August 1st and find out if you do have 8 o'clock classes. Step one would be to look to see, what class would that be? Second step, contact us and find out, because we can kind of give you that big picture of what that's going to look like to switch that class out. If there are other classes open, I always describe scheduling as it's a large puzzle. So you want to make sure that when you take a puzzle piece out, you can find another puzzle piece to put back in, and it doesn't mean disrupting the entire puzzle. The only thing that you wouldn't be able to do if you are in a short form course, which that is for students who are bringing in calculus credit, but you are in another class. And so short form is kind of an in-between, making sure that you've got all the information covered, because we teach calculus a little bit differently here. And those are only offered at 8 o'clock in the morning. So that wouldn't be a possibility to switch it, but definitely check your schedule and then let us know. Because you do have the you do have the possibility to change your schedule. It just depends on what you're changing and how you can change it too.
Okay, we have another question. And how many monthly installments can tuition be paid? So I'm actually going to throw a link in here about basically payment options. We do offer a payment plan. It's all through the Bursar's office. I'll be honest with you, I don't know too much about it, but there is a link in here on kind of what installment plans look like. From what I can tell, it looks like there's about 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 different payment dates throughout the term. Typically, tuition and fees will be due the business day after Census Day. So Census Day is in the middle of the week. It's September 5th. Tuition and fees will be due September 6th. However, you can sign up for an installment plan. You do need to do that in advance. Again, I'm going to send the link so you can check that out. The Bursar's office contact information will be there as well. So if you do have questions about payment plans, things like that, give them a call or shoot them an email so they can get you started with that, honestly, sooner rather than later, to get that in the works. But take a look at that and see if that's something that'll work for you.
Okay. Where are we? Where are we? All right, Gray asks, if your financial aid scholarship covers the book stipend, how do you go about using that? I'm not sure how to answer this question. I would refer you over to the financial aid website. It's here on it should be on your screen, finaid.mines.edu. Yeah, so I don't want to steer y'all wrong. Financial aid questions, we do ask that you direct those to the financial aid office, because they will definitely best be able to answer your questions way better than we can, and we don't want to steer you wrong.
Okay, and then Grace, you asked what are short form classes, and as Rhett said, sounds like you'll probably be looking at a short form. Then I'm going to copy and paste information that spells it out, and this is from the registrar's website about what short form is. And so pretty much, again, it's a 1-credit class, and it's to bridge any material not covered in the course being transferred to Mines. And so really it's Calc 2 because it's different. It's information that's, taught in a different way, and so they just want to make sure that you are getting all the information that you need. And that's, again, if a transfer student has only completed up through Calc 2. So that's what that looks like.
Okay, we have another question. With work-study jobs, will we need to create a resume? And if this is the case, where can we find tips to create a successful resume? Great question. A lot of times with campus jobs, depending on the position, you may or may not need a resume. Really kind of depends on what you're looking for. Now, if you're looking to become a tutor or something like that, we may ask for one, because we do kind of want to see your academic record, but not everyone might. If you are looking, I'm going to send up a link. Our Career Center website has fantastic resources. They even have an online booklet, and they do a print form as well that they put out every year. Really with kind of tips on resume building and how to approach companies. So we highly encourage you to attend the career fair. That's a whole nother thing you'll hear about once you get to campus. But if you are looking to kind of put together maybe a first resume, I'll send you a link. There are some great examples in there and some great templates. So yeah, it's probably a great thing to maybe just put together this summer while you've got a little time. That way you have it in your back pocket in case you need it. But no, not all jobs on campus require a resume, but I'll send that link here shortly.
Okay, and Margot, your question about, is it possible to request honors courses or is it exclusive to previous AP scores? So those are two totally different things. Samantha, I just saw your question come in. Is there only honors math? I don't know if there's more. I know we've got honors programs. I do know that we've got honors math. Lisa, do we have additional honors courses?
No, I mean, outside of the McBride Honors Program, which you can apply for during your freshman year to start as a sophomore, no. At this point, math is the only department that offers honors-specific courses at this point. Physics does as well, but it's really for physics majors. They offer like honors physics 3 and some things like that. If you're not going into physics, you won't ever see those. But yeah, at this point, for the most part, for most students, math is about the only option.
Yeah. And again, for this first semester, you can't request that. You could, after August 1st, take a look to see if you would like to do that. And if there's open seats in an honors math course, then you could take a look at changing your schedule to get into one of those honors courses. And then again, after this first semester, you'll be registering yourself. So then you can go ahead and look to take those honors courses. And so it doesn't have anything to do with previous AP scores. It's open to anyone who wants to take the honors version of a math course.
All right. Am I understanding it correctly that I won't have to do a short form since I have Calc 1 to 3 done? Lisa, can you answer that one?
That can vary a little bit depending on where your credit is coming from. You may actually need to do a Calc 3 short form in addition to differential equations. But the registrar's office, when they get in all your credits, will analyze that and determine whether or not that's needed for you. Depending on, if you're coming from AP credit or maybe transfer credit, dual enrollment, things like that, they may look up the institution you took it from and see to make sure they're hitting the same content we would. Really just depends. So yeah, it could be there, it could not. Check your schedule. If it's there, you'll need to complete it. If not, then you're good to go.
All right. We can sign up to be tutors our sophomore year, correct? So tutors, we typically like for you to be considered a sophomore if you want to apply to be a tutor. Also, you do have to have a GPA of a 3.4. And again, so being a sophomore, showing that you're knowledgeable in the core and also holding that 3.4, if you meet those requirements, then yes, we do ask that you come chat with me about possibly working for CASA as one of our peer educators. Are there any other questions before we tune out? You guys have some really great questions. We've done our best to answer them, so we hope that you've got the information that you need.
Yeah, and Erica posted the hours, so CASA is open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. We'll be at the M Climb. We'll be handing out really awesome wristbands, so you'll see us.
Anything else, y'all, please ask away. That's what we're here for. If not, we can go ahead and shut this off. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. We're really excited to see you all. Again, this is Erica. I will be at Ore Digger Camp on the 31st. So I hope to get to know you all a little bit better, learn more about you, get to find out more about me and CASA. We really, really do want you to come to our office. We really encourage you to come see your advisor. Just pop in and say hi. We would like for our CASA to be your home away from home.
Yep, we got two more questions, a couple more questions. So, Azariah, generally speaking, what kind of laptop do people bring in? That's a really good question, a really common question. And there is, okay, I'm going to send just the CCIT website because they do have some information there. And right at the top on students, they have, should new students buy a computer for their studies at Mines? Here's some advice. And I do know that they had something about a recommendation for laptops as well. So, but great website to be able to find kind of anything IT related.
I would say, just to piggyback on that, I'm a Mines alum, so just speaking from experience, find a computer that you're going to be comfortable using. So if you've never used a Mac and you're not a Mac person and that's what you want to go get, that's great. But keep in mind, use whatever's going to be comfortable for you. As long as you can use, some sort of word processing, so whether that's Word or something else. Generally, PowerPoint and Excel. Excel is going to be a big one. Those are going to be the ones you're going to use the most. Any specific software you're going to need, the department is going to have on their computer labs for you.
Okay, and then Sharon, your question, where do we find out what was missed at launch? I do know that they were recording some sessions at launch. It was a lot of information kind of spread throughout the day. I just looked on the launch website and I don't see anything posted, so I'm not sure if they're going to be posting that soon. I do know that because Ordigger Camp is next week. I think that's the main focus of the Office of New Student Transition Services right now. So likely they might be posting that afterwards to be able to do that. And then I also just wanted to address, Nicholas, if we can't go to launch, how do we get our ID and our TD pass? You can get your ID the first week of classes. I do know that the ID office gets really busy that first week of school, so you can go whenever you can, just kind of be prepared to do that. And they'll probably send out information. I know they were working on a system for where you could upload your own picture, and then your ID would be ready to go. Not sure when that's going to be rolling out, but take a look at your email and see if there's any other information.
Okay, we had another question. What does the schedule look like for the weekend after move-in, and are there a lot of open events? Oh my gosh, so much is going to be going on that weekend. So that Friday, so most of you will likely move in Thursday, depending on if you're in a themed learning community or an athlete, you may be moving in sooner. So check your email for that schedule. There'll be a ton going on. Friday's the M Climb, so bring your rock to campus. You're going to be super stoked. Kind of piggybacking on that, Joel, you asked about hard hats. Yes, every class gets a different colored hard hat. I think this last year was yellow, or this year might be yellow.
I think this year is.
I think last year was purple.
Yep.
So yeah, it changes year to year, but everyone will get a hard hat, so you'll get that at the M Climb. So there's a lot going on. Convocation will be Friday as well, and then throughout the weekend, you'll actually be meeting in your CSM 101 groups and with your residence hall floors for a ton of events. So there'll be a lot going on. You'll get a chance to meet a lot of people and check out campus and do a lot of really fun stuff. So yeah, there's a lot going on that first weekend. That'll definitely, a lot for you to do and check out campus. So you'll have a ton of fun when you get here.
Is there on-campus Wi-Fi? Yes, there is. I use it on my phone daily. So yes, you will have access to Wi-Fi on campus.
Right, and then Jim, when our webinar will be posted on our website, I will be working on that tomorrow, and hopefully it will be up there shortly thereafter.
Okay,
all right, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, if we're going to Ordigger Camp, can we get...
Uh-oh, Erica, you cut out.
Erica cut out. Okay, I'll pick up. If we're going to Ordigger Camp, can we get our RTD pass then, or does that have to be after move-in day? That's a really good question. I am not sure if the Blaster Card office will be open and kind of ready for everyone to get their IDs or not during Ordigger Camp, because I know it's a pretty quick come on campus, get checked in, and then go right to camp. So it might be able to happen afterwards. I do know another student had asked about getting it earlier, and I talked with the director of the office, and he had said that they were really trying to wait until being closer to classes. We're still in July, but it'll be August. So you could always check around. Likely you're not the only one who has that question. So I would kind of ask around and see if anyone has any other information about that once you're here for camp.
Okay, we had another question. Are there any paid options for parking close to campus? So parking is kind of interesting. You can pay to park on campus. We have a couple lots that have visitor spaces, so you can either pay for an hour or pay for all day. That can get expensive pretty quickly. Most of the things close to campus are actually neighborhoods, so we're kind of tucked in right in between a lot of houses, and you have to be a Golden resident in order to park there. So there's really no options there. There are some as you get closer to downtown Golden, which is really only about 4 blocks from campus. But a lot of that is more short-term parking, so only for a couple of hours. So parking can be a little limited. Just as something to keep in mind, our campus is fairly small. So if you haven't had a chance to visit us yet, you'll see it when you get here. You can walk across the entire campus in about 10 minutes. Downtown Golden is 3 to 4 blocks from campus. There's a grocery store within walking distance. So necessarily needing a car, you probably won't within that first year. You will also make a lot of friends, and some of them will likely have cars. So keep that in mind too. But yeah, parking can get a little tricky. I would say maybe when you get to Golden, maybe, scope some things out if you're really dead set on that. Make sure you're paying attention to parking signs. City of Golden does issue tickets, so just keep that in mind.
All right, I'm back. Gabriella asks, where's the exact meeting location for Ore Digger Camp? I would say go back through your email and look for anything from Nest or from New Student Transition Services. I'm not exactly sure where they're having students meet, so just look back through your email. I'm sure that you can find it in some earlier correspondence.
Okay, and then Jorge, the percentage of international undergrad students. And I apologize, I did not look that up. I'm looking up. Lisa, do you know off the top of your head?
I don't know off the top of my head. Previous years, it's been around 15 to 18%.
This is more than 800 students, so that's not a percentage.
Yeah, let's see if I can. Yeah, so that comes out actually to about 17.5%. So yeah, we usually land somewhere between about 15 to 18% international students. Samantha had a question, can you pay to park overnight? So overnight parking. Really what I would suggest, and actually the parking office will tell you this too, if you do need to park a car overnight, contact parking services. They will tell you, A, where you can park overnight because it is limited to a few lots. And they may be able to give you a permit. So you can't necessarily do it all the time. But if maybe it's a night or two, or, especially if you're coming from Ore Digger Camp, contact parking services. That way they can make sure that your car doesn't get ticketed or something like that.
All right, and then Samantha, your question, have the class sizes grown over the past few years and how many are in the 2022 class? Great questions. There have been a slight increases in the past 2 years, I know specifically, of incoming students coming to Mines. I don't know what our final count is. We'll actually have our final count for what the new student class is based on census day, just because students do change their class schedules around, and that's the last day to add and drop classes. So that is where we get our final capture of how many students will be in this class.
Typically, we've had class sizes of about 1,000 to 1,100-ish, and typically we fall within that range.
All right, again, some really good questions. Before we close it up, we'd like you to type in anything else you'd like to ask us. Give y'all a couple minutes. Well, I see people are slowly leaving the webinar, so I guess we can go ahead and wrap it up. If you do have a question that comes to you, maybe like, oh, here we go. Whoop, up. Hold on. How soon can an appointment be made with an advisor? Once you get your schedule on August 1st, if you have questions, please go ahead and reach out to us. Right now, there's not too much that we can do as your schedule is being built. We would love to chat with you, but we'd also like to have a very meaningful conversation with you. So anytime after August 1st, please go ahead and reach out to your advisor.
Okay, we have one from Lydia. Is the library just a research library, or are there recreational books in there as well? There are recreational books. It is a fairly small group. But yes, there are different options for there. Library is also a great study space. They actually rent out some really cool equipment. So maybe you're headed up to the mountains or doing something like that. They rent out GoPros and all kinds of stuff. And there is a coffee shop in there. So if you need a little caffeine boost while you're studying, great option.
Okay, and then Jorge, your question, how often the bathrooms are cleaned in Maple Hall? I was trying to look that up and I do not know. I mean, I can say on a regular basis, not sure. what that comes down to exactly. But again, if you contact Residence Life, we have that link above, or just search Minds Residence Life. You could always ask them, and I'm sure that they've got that information. And then if you got into a TLC this year, does that transfer to the next year as well? It does not. So the TLC is for this year, and then housing for second-year students is, there will be information about that, believe it or not, starting in November. So like we mentioned earlier, pay attention to your email because Residence Life will be sending out information. They'll be doing multiple information sessions about what housing looks like as a sophomore, because we've got some housing on campus. We have some housing up at Mines Park. Some students opt to live off campus. And then we are building we're building a new residence hall. We're building new apartments. So there's a lot of construction happening on campus right now, and there will be more housing. But right now, sophomore year is kind of when it gets to be a little bit tight.
All right, next question. Do backpacks tend to be pretty laden with books/notebooks, or are most things digital at this point? That's pretty much personal preference. I have some students who prefer to have their books online and they take their notes online and their laptop is their life. And then you have some students who are old school. They've got, a composition notebook for every class. They're handwriting their notes. So it's definitely just whatever you prefer. You do have the option with most textbooks to get them as an ebook, or you can get the physical hard copy of the book. So just whatever you are most comfortable with, whatever you feel is going to work best for you.
And that actually piggybacks on Lydia's question, how many notebooks do successful Mind students usually use? Again, very much a personal preference. Some students like one big, multi-subject notebook, so everything's in one place. Some students prefer to kind of compartmentalize, and I have one notebook for this class, maybe a different type of notebook for another. So really kind of up to you. I would say maybe take that first couple weeks when things are a little bit lighter in your classes to kind of experiment with what works for you in terms of note taking. Maybe you've never used an electronic resource and you discover, oh my gosh, my life has changed. Maybe, experiment with different notebooks. Really up to you and personal preference, but find a system and experiment a little bit with a system that's going to work best for you.
Okay, and then Samantha, your question, are all professors posting notes online, or do they kind of pick and choose? I would say it's going to be a good mix. We use Canvas as our learning management system, so our LMS, and I would say a good amount of courses are on Canvas, and then there are some courses that are not on Canvas. And then the extent to which instructors and professors are utilizing that to post all of their notes versus just having it, that it's available only in class is going to really vary. And so you'll find out about that information, that first week of classes. And so I'd say really, pay attention to that. And if they've got the online aspects, you can continue to use that. If not, always going to class is a great recommendation.
In your experience, what are roughly the top 3 reasons people don't succeed at Minds if they are struggling? Something students struggle with is time management. In high school, everything's pretty much laid out for you. You've got a schedule made for you. Sometimes students struggle with, staying on top of their books, but at the same time keeping their social life, but doing it in a healthy way. So time management seems to be a struggle for students. I would say also students in high school, they might not have had to study. It came really easy. And so they're coming here to Minds and they don't know how to study and they're not asking. So I would say kind of letting pride get in the way of saying, I need a little bit of help. I don't know how to manage my time. I don't know how to keep a calendar. I don't know how to take notes. So definitely just the transition from high school to Minds and just getting used to the course load and managing your own time. And, for most of y'all, this is the first time that you're on your own. Sometimes you want to go a little bit crazy, but, you got to pull in the reins and we got to keep you hitting the books, making sure that you're on top of your grades. So I would say time management, study habits, and just kind of transitioning to Minds. I would say those are not reasons why they don't succeed, but reasons why they struggle. Students here are really on top of it. They want to be successful. So it's not that they don't succeed, it's just maybe they have a little bit of trouble getting there.
Okay, next question. Does Minds use lynda.com to supplement coursework? And is there a way to utilize that resource? As a campus-wide, no, we don't use lynda.com. The learning platform we use is called Canvas, and you will all have access to that probably the week before school starts. So you'll actually see all of your courses loaded in there. Depending on the course, some instructors may use other outside resources, but at Canvas as a whole, we do use Canvas. And that's where most instructors will post, their syllabus. A lot more are using it, to do homework, submit homework online. It's a great way to keep track of classes. It's got a great calendar feature. Very user friendly. So if you've ever used that before, hopefully you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, you'll get to see that once you get to Canvas.
All right, we got about 38 of y'all still in. Okay, what would you recommend quickly reviewing before the semester begins? So as we mentioned in the webinar, looking at your catalog is really important. Looking at what does your degree require? What classes are you going to need to take? What does each semester going to look like? That's all laid out on catalog.minds.edu. I'll go ahead and type that in. I would say looking over that, that gives you a good idea of what you're going to be facing for the next few years. Maybe you look at it and you see, I don't want to take thermo. I don't want to take, these classes. So looking through all the catalogs and making sure that you're happy with what you've chosen in your major. So I would say reviewing your catalog is a good idea for sure.
I would say also keep checking that Minds email.
Mm-hmm.
We cannot stress that enough. But again, you'll be getting a lot of information, especially as we get closer to the start of school. So just make sure you're monitoring that and you're up on all of the information there. But yeah, and enjoy yourself. It's summer.
All right, we got about 34 of y'all still listening in. So if you have any questions, go ahead and type them in. We got a few more minutes.
What clubs and activities are your favorites on campus? Oh my goodness. There are so many great ones. So I will share a personal one. I have not done this yet, but we have an aerial yoga class, and I think that's pretty neat because I used to do aerial myself, and so I think it's a pretty fun thing to do.
There are so many clubs, activities to join. We have over 200 different student organizations on campus, everything from Greek life and student government to general interest clubs. We have a pyrotechnics club on campus. So if you have a proclivity for fire, that might be something for you. Intramural sports is really popular. So if you're just looking to kind of maybe get out, get some exercise, play on a team, if you're not looking for something super competitive, intramurals is always a favorite. Trust me, go to Celebration of Minds. That first Friday after school starts, Celebration of Minds will happen. All the clubs and organizations will be out there, so you can actually go around and check out and ask questions like, what do they do? How often do they meet? It'll be a great way to kind of check out what's on campus. Also, there's a lot of free food, so it's a great way to get some yummy, yummy treats.
And then I also posted the link for Engage. It's our new website that coordinates all of the clubs and activities. You can track your involvement. So they already have information about Fall Kickoff and Celebration Minds, but you can look at all the different clubs and organizations there and explore them all. And then again, the recording will be posted on that first year info website. That also connects to our main CASA website, which has our contact information as well. So be sure to connect there if you've got any other questions that come up after this webinar.
Any other questions, guys?
Oh, we have one. Okay, do many classes happen on Fridays? Or are they slower days academically? Yes, classes do happen on Fridays. So a lot of your classes will your class times may happen either Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or a Tuesday, Thursday. But yes, you will generally have class on Friday. Depending on your schedule, it may look a little lighter, but yes, you can probably anticipate probably at least 3 or 4 classes on Fridays. Okay, we've got another question. Do labs have professors or just students? It can be a mix. A lot of times the professor may be there, or there may be a teaching professor there to kind of oversee things, but there may be a lab assistant or a lab technician who's actually overseeing the lab itself. Just kind of depends on the class. When it comes to actually your lecture and things like that, professors do teach your lecture. You may see TAs and things like that helping with the class, but you generally have faculty actually teaching your courses. But yeah, it really depends on the lab, but usually you do have a professor in there kind of supervising the process.
All right, that's all the time we have for this webinar. We really do appreciate you all staying tuned. You had some really great questions. We hope that we gave you the answers that you wanted, that you needed. Again, if you have anything settling in your mind, please reach out to us, and we would be more than happy to meet with you, to speak with you on the phone, answer via email, whatever it is to get you what you need. So thank y'all for tuning in, and again, we look forward to meeting you all in a few days. All right, thank you guys. Y'all have a good night.